Hey healthy gamers, this is Jack here. Let me show you this build I've been using to farm Act 3. The goal behind this build is to just do massive amounts of AOE DPS and just make your farming as efficient and as fast as possible. And the best part is it's pretty cheap to do this build. You don't need like 200 millions worth of crit gear. I know that was a big problem for a lot of you guys for some of my other builds. That crit gear was just super expensive. You should be able to get the equipment you need for this build for under 20 million. And before we get started, if you want to win a free copy of Guild Wars 2, just follow me on Twitter, like my Facebook page, and then subscribe to YouTube, and then you will have 3 chances to win. And finally, please show your support for healthy gaming by hitting like and subscribe and sharing this on your forums and social media. Alright, let's get into it. Let's talk about this build. So the idea here is to basically do as much AOE DPS as possible while still maintaining fairly high survivability, because every time you die, that's a good minute wasted running around. So this runs a lot like your standard just Cyclone build. You want to make sure your mantra of evasion is up. I use the backlash rune, so every time you dodge you're doing, I think, 56% weapons DPS to an AOE around you. And then you want to make sure your sweeping wind with Cyclone is up. I have about 28.3 or 28.5% crit in this video, so and I'm running a shield that has 10% crit on it, so it's not a lot of crit gear and it shouldn't be too difficult to achieve. And let me just tell you about my item build real quick. I'm using a hammer plus shield. The hammer has about 700 DPS, I think plus 750 life on hit, and then about 300 dex. I'm running about 2k dex right now, and so that's the main thing, just having high dex, having some attack speed on your rings, because those are a lot cheaper than crit on your rings. And then my weapon, it doesn't even have any critical hit damage, so I just have critical hit chance on my shield, my helmet, my amulet, and my bracers. So overall it's not very expensive, and I try to get magic find on pieces I could, so I have about 115% magic find right now. So that's why I like to use a shield too. You can get some extra magic find there pretty easily, and then it just helps your survivability out since you're sacrificing a lot of defensive stats for magic find. So what I've been doing is going into a fight, making sure my mantra of evasion is up, and then after that I will activate sweeping wind and then use my cyclone strike to pull all the enemies in close to me. And once that's done, you're going to be doing just massive amounts of damage to everybody. And I think that's part of the reason this build works so well, is using that to pull the mobs in. Your primary spirit generator, the Fist of Thunder, is now doing it's now hitting, you know, like 10 mobs at once. So even though my life on hit is only about 700, it's really easy to stay alive because I'm just hitting so many mobs, because I can pull them in using the Cyclone Strike. So I'll start a fight, activate my sweeping wind, pull everybody in using Cyclone Strike, and then I will use a 7-sided strike. I have it ruined out for Fumigating Onslaught. That's the one that does 254% AOE damage instead of just, you know, straight up damage to one target. And I think this really synergizes well with Cyclone Strike, because when you pull all the mobs in, they're all, you know, right on top of you. So that way when you activate 7-sided strike, that 254% weapons damage is not only hitting your primary target, but then all the other mobs around. So you're essentially doing 1,777% damage to all the mobs in the area, and not just, you know, 254% here, 254% to the next mob. I still did find it a little bit dicey in Act 3. Didn't have too much trouble, but I did die a few times while making this video. So I think, well, my resists are pretty low. They're all in the 300s and 400s. I don't know why I can just never seem to get high resist, but I don't know. It still works for me. And I think this would be, you know, depending on what your stats are, this running this kind of build, probably best to do Act 2 until you can do Act 3 without you know, dying more than once every 15 minutes or so. And then when you have friends online, then that's when you do the higher level acts. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing, is just farming Act 3 with some friends. So you can find a write-up for this build on my website at thehealthygamer.com. I'll link down to it in the description. And then it's going to have, you know, all the links that you need to find the build, and you know, the whole write-up and more detailed explanation of everything like that. And now for your healthy tip of this video. We're going to be talking about a really quick and easy a snack that you can make. It is Chinese egg drop soup. At Walmart and other grocery stores, you can buy these little packets for either egg drop soup or sweet and spicy egg drop soup, so you don't have to make anything from scratch. And what you do is you just put these packets in like 2 cups of water and then put some eggs in there. It only calls for 1 egg, but I usually put 2 or 3 or 4 eggs depending on how hungry I am. But so this can make a really quick, easy snack at night, especially when you're gaming. All you gotta do is go boil some water, come back to your game. 10 minutes later the water is boiling, so you just throw in the packet, crack 3 or 4 eggs into the water, and then you have delicious Asian style spicy egg drop soup. I want to thank you for watching, and please support Healthy Gaming by hitting like and subscribe and sharing this on your favorite social media and on your favorite forums, especially Reddit. Come on, if you could help me get some of these videos on Reddit, that would be amazing. And then let me ask you, what are your thoughts on 1.0.4 so far? I want to know if you think this has given longevity to Diablo 3. Post that in the comments down below. Thanks and have a great day.